Hi, and welcome to day 7 of Inktober Tangles challenge. Inktober Tangle Challenge 2022. I'm Anica CZT from Croatia, and I hope that you will maybe feel inspired to draw with me. Today's tangle is Fluxecho by Lynn Mead, a wonderful CZT. And it's a floral tangle, quite nice. I really like it. And you know, it's kind of has a roundish form once it's finished. But it starts with an orb, and I'm starting it here. So I will add the, let's say, petal shapes on top. Try to close this gap right here, and then I will see if I have space for some more and if I want to add it or not. So I'm adding this first kind of petal shape, and then I will just add other shapes that are receding in size as I move away from the center. There are certainly other ways that you could try to draw this, but this is the original way and I kind of like it. I will now add these two small ones, and then just the lines that are like flicking, so it's my intention to make them a bit thinner as they move away from the center. And you can see that I'm also adding some rounding or weighting. I'm never sure about the pronunciation, you know, adding weight to this bottom part next to the orb, which I'm going to shade anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it doesn't look totally tidy, you know. It will not be noticeable once we add the shades and highlights, of course. And now that I have it here below my heartfully, I will also add an aura line below heartfully, and I will just ink in the space between the two. The space is really small, so I will go with solid black. And now that I'm looking at this, I think I might add another one towards the bottom. So I'm rotating my tile, and I will start with an orb first. Kind of an awkward place to put it, and now I see that because, you know, I'm supposed to finish the orb right where this gap is. But again, you know, no mistakes in Zentangle, and besides, once we are done with this design, it will be quite big. So these small imperfections and details will not be visible at all. So I wanted to put the two really close to each other. And because I have these mulligans right here, which are quite light, and the background that's composed of these lines, I think, you know, inking in is a nice change. I will stop here. And then again, I'm going to do these lines that are almost like that I'm almost flicking from the center. Well, this was a strange flick, right? Some people find it easier to do the flicking away from themselves, some towards themselves. I think perhaps doing it towards you might be easier. So you can try whatever. You know, when I'm filming something, I try to maybe rotate the tile a little bit less than I would normally when I only draw for myself, because sometimes it's difficult to watch the paper rotating all the time and then figuring out what's the top, what's the bottom of the design. Well, we all know that Zentangle doesn't have the top and bottom sides, so because it's figurative, because it's not figurative, because it's an abstract drawing, you should be able to watch it from whichever side you prefer. But in many Zentangle inspired projects, we actually sometimes do the design in a way that it has a designated top and bottom side. This is something quite close to traditional Zentangle, but maybe still with some Zentangle inspired art elements. I'm rotating the tile to add these smiley shapes, you know, shading of the orbs, and then I'm shading around this central orb, and I will also shade next to these petal shapes that kind of go over and under each other. So wherever there is one petal that, you know, is placed on top of the other one, I will enhance that placement by adding the shade. And then, of course, taking my blending stump and just lightly spreading the shade away from where it's supposed to be the darkest. And again, if you are working on the old original Zentangle Renaissance styles, which are really soft and delicate, be mindful, especially mindful about how you blend so that you don't damage your paper. And these two are cute. I think such a cute tangle. I wonder why I don't use it more often. And then, of course, with my little white pencil, and this one is really small, soon to be retired. It has given me probably many hours of, you know, joyful work. And then if you feel that you can add some more shiniest highlights with your jelly roll pen or whatever white gel pen you might be using, just add some, and perhaps after that you want to also retrace some of the black lines if you feel that they are muted, because, you know, if you want or prefer to have crisp and solid black lines like I do, you might be coming back to them after shading and highlighting to make them more visible, like these ones here, especially if you have kind of muted them with the white pencil or jelly roll. And these are my two cute Fluxecho flowers. And that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you for drawing me. Thank you for drawing with me. Goodbye.